And we are live.
Ready to go.
Deep from the sector.
With another tale. My friend, introduce yourself, my friend.
My name is Lorenzo Sanchez.
Nice.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming, joining us, you know what I'm saying? So you can tell us a little bit about yourself.
there's a lot.
Yeah.
Grew up mostly here in Denver. You know, I went to DU, University of Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Most of my career I spent teaching. But I'm kind of moving away from that now. I'm trying to pursue what I actually like.
Yeah.
I like teaching, I just didn't like math. Well, you know, yeah, you can't. Yeah, it's hard to do that all day, man. Same problems over and over, and like, man.
Yeah. I feel so math wasn't your favorite subject?
It was my best subject.
Oh, okay.
So it was something I was really good at. Like, for example, when I was 16, I was taking calculus at the community college when I was in high school.
Okay.
So doing enrollments, I would go do that. When I was 15, I was one of my math teachers. He pulled me aside and started teaching me discrete mathematics, which is like something you study in college if you're a math major.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so like something I was really good at, you know. I was like, so I was in college, like, man, I gotta pick a career, gotta pick a job. Math is what I was good at. Teach, hang out, you know, go, yeah. So that's what I did. Yeah, nah. Do you have any questions? You know a little bit about me, you know.
Oh yeah. So what are you up to now? So what's you're doing some like fighting stuff, yeah?
Yeah, so I love martial arts. I just love fight. Always love fighting. Always love it, man. Got me in like, well. So I started boxing when I was 13 at gym, right? And it got me through high school, cause when I was at a boxing gym, I wasn't getting in fights at school. See what I mean? And it, like, I also had a lot of energy. I was very antsy. So like hard for me to be in class and sit still. But when I was working out at the gym, I was calm, collected. You know, they teach you that in boxing. You gotta maintain your composure, your focus. You know, who's throwing punches at you, you gotta be able to handle it. You know what I mean? Not freak out. So I started with boxing, and then gym got shut down when I was in college because of gentrification. But then what happened was I ended up going to Muay Thai. So I did Muay Thai for a bit. And my instructor lived in Thailand for 9 years.
Damn.
Yeah, and so, you know, he taught me some good stuff. I love Muay Thai, but then he ended up moving down to California. So then after that, after college, so that was during college. Then after college, I went into the Chinese martial arts, started doing some Kung Fu.
Tight.
Yeah, so my instructor learned in Korea, my Kung Fu teacher. He was in the army, so we were stationed out there because he spoke like English, Spanish, Korean, Mandarin, and Cantonese, right? so he was stationed in Korea. Yeah, so he was stationed in Korea working intelligence because he spoke all them languages, you know. And he said pretty much when he was not on duty, he was training Kung Fu. And the story behind how now Korea is like a Taekwondo place, Taekwondo, right? You think Korea? But he was learning Chinese Kung Fu, and the story behind that is crazy. Like I don't even know how much of it is true, but I'm just telling you what he told me, right? So his Kung Fu teacher was raised in the mountains by 3 Shaolin monks in Korea, right? Not China, 3 Shaolin Buddhist monks. And then his Kung Fu teacher wanted to open up a Kung Fu school in Korea, but they wouldn't let him because it's like very nationalist, you know? You know, they have all that, these ethnicities and Asians, like, oh, Chinese don't like the Japanese, like all that kind of stuff, right? We do Kung Fu, not karate. Oh, this is Taekwondo, not that, you know what I mean? Yeah. That's just my understanding. I don't know how much of this is true, right? It's just my understanding. But so apparently, for him to open up a Chinese martial arts school in Korea, a Kung Fu school, he had to fight like one of the main Taekwondo guys in the city or state or whatever, because it had to be government sponsored. So dude had a challenge like that, like a master had a fight or something, a Taekwondo guy beat him. You know, so he was able to open up his Kung Fu school, Chinese Kung Fu school in Korea. So that's where my teacher learned. Yeah, there's like all these pictures I see. So my Kung Fu teacher was like 6'3" or something. So I see pictures of him out there with these little tiny Asian dudes learning Kung Fu. So yeah, so then, well, he was in the military, then he was in business, and then after the recession, In 2008, he lost his job. He was like 50 years old, 60 years old, 50 or something. He was like, oh, I'll just start open up a kung fu school. You know? So then I ended up training there, learning there.
Wow.
Then he passed away in 2017 because he got invited to go to China, it's like the Shaolin Temple, because he like knew the monks and stuff. So they invited, like I was supposed to go with him, but I was teaching and they went in September, beginning of the school year. Like, man, I can't be gone for 3 weeks. You know, so I couldn't go. But then, it's crazy, he ended up having a heart attack on the Great Wall of China.
Wow.
What?
It was like wild, right? Like,
That's
this
insane.
is stuff that you make movies out of, you know? So then, yeah, that happened. And then I came back to Denver, and then I picked up Wing Chun. So this is like like actual Wing Chun school from the Moya lineage, and Moya was a student of Iman. I don't know if you've seen the movies, like the Wing Chun, the Iman movie. Yeah. So Moya was like
You're talking about the imams?
Yeah. And so he was, so I guess what Iman did is he sent his students to like different countries and stuff to spread Wing Chun. So Moya came to like New York, I think. He set up his school, and then it's now it's here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where's that at?
The place I go to is on Broadway, right here on Broadway in like Colorado, Broadway and Jewel, around there.
Oh, okay. I know where that's at.
Yeah.
I think I might have seen it.
Yeah.
Does it say Wing Chun on it, or does it have a different
I
name?
think it says like Denver Kung Fu.
Okay.
And then it's like outside it says like Being Sun or something like that.
That's tight.
But it's just like learning all these different martial arts, right? Boxing, Muay Thai. Oh, I also did jiu-jitsu like for like a year, like white belt. You know, when I was in Oregon, I did some jiu-jitsu.
It's tight.
So then, so it's like learning, boxing, Muay Thai, a little bit of jiu-jitsu. Learning kung fu, like just seeing how all these different martial arts, how they move, how they strike, their philosophies, and each one thinks they're the best. Each one. But like I just love it. I've been basically doing it almost like more than half my life. Like I've been learning martial arts longer than I've not been learning it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, man, that's what I love. I just love fighting. Like I get this adrenaline rush, and I'm do some sparring, throw some gloves on, get this adrenaline, time slows down, man. Take some shots, it wakes you up. Like, oh man, I'm in a fight. You know? Yeah. Man, so like, and like people want to learn it. Also, like the health benefits, man. You just get strong. You get healthy, you get fit. You can move. Your body gets hard. Your head, even like from all the boxing, my skull is hard. I remember just being in the classroom. There was like a cupboard, and I went in to pick something up, and my hand went boom right up against the cupboard. Like when one of the kids was there, like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" I'm like, I take way harder shots than that. You know, that is nothing. You know, yeah, you get hit. You get hit somewhere in the body. It's like it's nothing. You know, your body gets strong.
Yeah, man. So then, I guess do you have like a favorite one of like what you've learned, and then so you're starting to teach people now though too, yeah?
Well, I feel like I can, it's like there's a need. Like people want to learn this stuff. Like people really do want to learn this stuff. It's like I can show you, I can do it. Before not so much because I had my career. I was teaching. I followed that route. But really, this is what I love, man. I love martial arts. I love fighting. And so I'm trying to figure out a way to get this going. And then the other thing too is like kung fu, for example, is expensive, real expensive. It's not really accessible to like, if you grew up like on the west side, kung fu is not very accessible. You know what I mean? So that's why with me growing up, I always wanted to learn martial arts, like those kinds, but parents can't afford it. But boxing, I went to free boxing gyms, community gyms. Coaches are volunteers, they fought professionally, like in the Chicano community. You know what I mean? So like that's how come I got into boxing. So I kind of want to do something that's accessible to like youth, inner city youth. You know what I mean?
That would tie.
Yeah.
That's
Do
respectful,
something
man.
with that.
Teach them Wing Chun.
I would still need like 10 years of training, right? I can teach boxing, I can teach Muay Thai. Eventually I want to circle back to Jiu-Jitsu, but pretty much you need like 10 years of Kung Fu before you start teaching it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, that's tight though. I've always actually really had a keen interest for Wing Chun.
Dude,
Because Bruce Lee, that was one of his first fighting styles and stuff.
Bruce Lee trained Wing Chun for 10 years. That was his first fighting style. That's what his foundation. That's why he's so fast.
Yeah.
So fast. But Wing Chun people are fast.
I've watched because they have some tutorials online. So I've watched some of the tutorials. I've seen some of the movements and a little bit of that. They didn't really get too much into it. but like I said, I just love it. I've always loved Wing Chun in particular because of Bruce Lee. I've always loved Bruce Lee, and
Yeah.
he's just so inspirational.
So my kung fu teacher learned Wing Chun. So he taught me like the first form. He taught me Wing Chun before he got into Shaolin. How he learned it too is a funny story. He was down in like Florida or something, trying to learn kung fu from a guy. So guy was teaching him. Then he went to like a Chinese restaurant, and like the waiter or the busboy or something, like he was talking to him like, yeah, I know kung fu. Back in the 80s, Karate Kid movies are coming out, all that stuff, right? He was like, yeah, I know kung fu. So then this like Chinese dude at this restaurant was like, okay, show me your kung fu. So he shows him, like, no, that's karate. Like kung fu, he's like, no, the guy says this is kung fu. Chinese dude's like, nope, that's karate. And so then, okay, like, let's fight. And so this Wing Chun dude beats the crap out of my kung fu teacher. And so my kung fu teacher was like, okay. So then he got a job at the Chinese restaurant just so he could learn kung fu from like, it was like the busboy knew Wing Chun, like one of the cooks knew Hung Gar, like the delivery guy knew like Dragon Style, So
wow.
Yeah, we started learning that.
That's crazy.
And then he went to the military, got stationed in Korea and did the Shaolin thing over there.
Huh.
But basically, he taught me like the kung fu, the Wing Chun basics when I was with him back in like 2013 maybe. And one thing I noticed, man, after doing the forms, like it doesn't look like much, but my punches got harder. I realized I've been boxing for 8 years maybe, 5 years. It's kind of like your power, you got it or you don't. Your hand speed, you got it or you don't. But once I started doing Wing Chun, it's like, dude, I got faster, my punches got harder, all this got stronger, my tendons, everything. I was like, whoa, it's crazy.
Cause you use like every like little muscle in your body.
Yeah, it works your tendons, your ligaments, and also like I felt like they had this concept of chi. I felt like energy was just flowing through my hands. Where I just got started getting like I could hit harder now. Like it was wild. Weightlifting, boxing didn't do that. You got what you got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's probably also like you said, their philosophy. Because that's a lot of their philosophy, right?
Yeah.
It's like energy and chi.
The energy.
Like that.
And here's the other thing too. Also studying the Chinese. So I studied Chinese medicine as well. I went to Carl School of Traditional Chinese Medicine with like a master's degree. After West. So after I left, I went and did that. And it's different, So here, like if you're a boxer, or you're an MMA fighter, or you're a weightlifter, you focus on getting your muscles strong, right? Your muscles.
Yeah.
The Chinese martial arts, they focus on getting your bones strong and your tendons strong, your tendons and ligaments. Here's why though. Think about it. Like when somebody dies, say like a body passes away, right? What's the first thing to rot?
Skin,
The muscles, right? What's the last thing to decompose?
your bones,
The bones. So what's stronger, your bones or your muscles? The bones, right? And you ever eat like a steak or something, like, and you ever chew like a tendon? You get like a tendon, what's tougher, the tendon or the muscle? The tendon, right? So they're like, the bones and tendons are way stronger than the muscles. So I'm gonna make my bones strong, my tendons strong, and all of a sudden you have like this force, that you can hit with. But that's the idea. The muscles,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's just different way of thinking about it, you know what I mean? So it's like you see these movies, you see these videos, like, man, how can this guy be so little, so skinny, be breaking bricks and stuff like that? Like they have like their whole philosophy behind it,
That's tight.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, a lot of it's like mental. Yeah, you gotta believe it.
You gotta believe it. Yeah, the mind too. Mind is strong. That's one thing my kung fu teacher would teach us is like, he would put us in these positions, this format of holding, and it's just pain. It was just like nonstop. It's painful, and he would just be like, "Your body can do it. Your body can absolutely do it. It's your mind that wants to give up. Right now, I'm making your mind stronger." And he was right. He's 100% right. You know what I mean? And like that's how you go to. That's how you push your body to the next level. Yeah.
So you guys think that the chi comes from because don't our hearts produce electricity?
Yeah. Like it's running through your whole. So like when I was studying the medicine, it pretty much runs through your whole medicine, through your whole body, and it flows in certain channels. So down your leg, up your leg.
So if you think about it, if you did actually produce enough, then it would add power.
That's the idea. So like, is that and you have this like chi pocket right here in your dantian, so you can gather it and store it there. And the idea is you can take that extra energy, like if it were a battery or something, and you can move it to like your hands and then have like extra power. Or you can move it to like your throat, or you can move it to...
It's interesting you say that, because I actually do that. When I rap, that's where I channel my rapping from. Is right there in my gut, you know, my stomach down there.
Yeah.
And I always stand straight and just project into the mic, you know, and I get like nice vocals and...
That's where it is. Like you're probably tapping into your chin. Boxers, you hear in boxing all the time. You know, dig deep. You know, when you're in those deep rounds, you know, you're exhausted. Just dig deep. You know, find that extra push, and it's like they're probably digging into their energy reserve down here. You know? Yeah.
What?
Or will.
The willpower.
Yeah. I've heard that. Like, all right, so like when our body uses breaks down our food into energy, so whatever energy we don't need, it stores it in our muscles. You know, so I had this thing of thinking maybe you could get that energy out of your muscles. You know, because if there's more energy stored in your muscles, there's got to be a way to pull it out too. You know? So like I work out with that intent, and I feel like I've been able to pull out more energy from myself by doing that. You know what I'm saying? By being able to push into the muscle and like dig it out almost, because I could feel myself like just in little time periods, just how much strength I build. You know what I'm saying? Just one workout, I could feel the strength that I build to pull out from it.
Faster,
you know what I'm
saying? Yeah, girl. I think you have me on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Did you see that video I posted of me lifting 80-pound dumbbells in each hand?
I didn't. I seen a little bit of it.
Yeah, so like this is when I was like really working with that energy. I mean, I think this was like 2 years ago. At that time, I weighed 145 pounds. I was able to lift 80-pound dumbbells in each hand. Like I have that on video. I also have one where I did 90 pounds. I was only able to do one rep with the 90 pounds. But that's when I started playing around with this, like, how do you pull this extra energy? How do you gather it, and how do you move it to do these extraordinary things, you know what I mean?
I think in order to control that, right here, you have to be able to control this.
Yes, gotta control your mind. And that's where, like, meditation, like, I've been meditating for over 10 years.
Yeah.
And your mind, you learn how to focus your mind. And I think that's why, like, in the Kung Fu and in the movies and stuff, you see, like, the monks meditating, but they're also training Kung Fu, like, it's all connected. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the balance.
Yeah.
You gotta work both.
Your mind and your body,
And your spirit.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, like, this is the journey I've been on these last 10 years, right? Pretty much. It's like learning all this stuff, developing. I was just doing it for me. It was like, shoot, I want to, you know, be healthy and strong. I'm doing this. I want to learn how to fight. But now it's like, who am I going to fight? I'm not going to fight nobody. Who wants to fight me? I don't want to fight nobody. So it's like, well, I can teach other people how to do it, you know?
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, it's like, that's why, like, I love it too, you know? It's my passion. I put a lot of money into learning all this stuff too. Like, it hasn't been free, hasn't been cheap.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Definitely not. You said you got your master's in Chinese philosophy?
No, I was working towards Chinese, like acupuncture, herbs, fire cups, all that. Chinese medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was working on it, got about 4 semesters done, but then I was living off student loans, so I decided to go back to teaching, make some money. That's when my brother was like, man, you dropped out of school to become a teacher? That don't make no sense. But I pretty much learned like the basics, the fundamentals, you know, the acupuncture, the healing. So how I got into that though is concussions. I have mad crazy concussions from combat sports, as well as just being a knucklehead, playing regular sports, like playing basketball, going down and bumping heads into someone. Doing Kung Fu sparring, I remember one of my severe concussions came from Kung Fu sparring. Dude throws a kick, he had a karate background, throws a kick, I catch the kick, I throw him down on the ground. His other knee comes up as he falls, boom. It hit me, everything goes black. When I came to, I was still on my feet, but I was standing somewhere else. And everyone's in different positions. And like, I didn't want to fight no more. But I was like, dude, I got just knocked into the future. You know what I mean? I was like, the next morning it's like pounding, headache, like all the symptoms, concussion symptoms.
Damn.
But the thing is, they're cumulative. Plus, boxing's since you're 13, so being tapped in the head, you know, for 10 years, you know, plus all that other stuff. And I've been a couple street fights, jump too. Like, there's no protection, there's no headgear, there's no mouthpiece in those environments.
Yeah.
And so it got to a point when I was like 22, 23 years old. I was sparring in the ring. I just took a couple shots, like nothing crazy. It's not like boom, you know, just pop out some couple shots, no big deal. But all of a sudden the next day, I'm like, dude, what is going on? I can't even take a hit no more without getting a concussion. I can't even take a jab without getting, you know.
Damn.
And I went to the hospital. This is a point where I'm like, so imagine being hungover for a week straight, but you didn't drink nothing. This is what I was going through. Slurred speech. I was like talking with slurs, and I couldn't say to you know what I mean? Like I was really going through it for a whole week straight. Like it wasn't getting better. I couldn't hold a conversation. You talked to me, I forgot what you said. I can't remember. Short-term memory loss. Already like you talked to me, like I already forgot. I don't know. All right. Couldn't drive.
What happens when you smoke weed?
Huh?
What happens when you smoke weed sometimes?
Yeah. So like imagine experiencing this though, but sober, having done no weed, no alcohol, and for a week straight, and with the pounding headache the whole time. Right. So I went to the hospital. Cause I'm like, man, I've been hitting that before, but this is like brain damage, man. This is different. And so I went to the hospital. They're like, yeah, you have concussion. I'm like, I know, that's why I'm here. They're like, take it easy, and that'll be $2,000. Yeah, they charged me $2,000 to tell me I had a concussion. Like, well, that's where I went.
Basically, you told me I had to sleep for 12 hours. And then that's it.
Yeah, they're like,
I can roll down. I'm gonna read that on fucking Google.
The doctor told me to take it easy and asked me if I want some painkillers. I was like, no, I want to get better. So that's how I got into Chinese medicine. I was desperate. I was willing to try anything. I thought I was going to have brain damage the rest of my life. So I'm willing to try anything that can help me get better. Like, I got nothing left to lose at this point. I already went to the hospital. You know, brain damage, that's serious business. So I went, got acupuncture. After the first treatment, cleared up my headache, cleared up some of the pressure in my head, my balance came back, the dizziness was gone, cleared up my sinuses. It took about 3 acupuncture treatments to really, the symptoms, so I could function normally. In society.
Wow.
So I'm like, man, this stuff is like, is crazy. It's like, well, it's not crazy, it's like, it works. Whoa, you know, I had some other experiences, so I'm like, man, I need to learn this. And then when I was in the school, one of the professors, who was from China, he had a PhD in Chinese medicine from China. He gave me like a herbal remedy. I was still dealing with the concussion symptoms. So like if you get stressed out or sleep deprived, you have the symptoms that come back, even if you didn't get hit in the head. And so it took me several years. You know, he gave me like a herbal recipe, around like 10 to 15 different herbs, and cook it every day. It took a few years, but pretty much I'm back to like you can't even tell that I went through serious, you know, years of my life going through serious brain injuries. Like you can't, you know what I mean?
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I saw, it's wild, man. I was like, man, I got all this knowledge and experience. It's like I could do something with it, you know?
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
That sounds like an epic journey there, I'd
Yeah.
say. Shit, that's what's up.
So, like, have you been able to, people have been coming to you? Yeah. You been getting some people?
You know, it's kind of like just on the down low, just, you know, friends and family. Like, I want to figure out a way to make it, like, legit, like, real legit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And have it, like, accessible to the people. But, like, you know, right now, and, like, to pay my, those were my hobbies and my passions. So to pay the bills, I was teaching, I was working in schools. We're now working in, like, in the nonprofit sector. Like, that's how I pay my bills, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I kind of just do that, you know, just for friends and family, just help them out, you know. Like, you know, David came through, he's been learning how to box, you know, do the gloves on the other day. You know, yeah, come through. Want to learn a couple moves, we could do that. Work out, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's tight,
Yeah.
man. That's what's up. That's pretty cool to know all that type of stuff. You know, I've delved into like a little bit of like medicine, not like Chinese medicine in particular, but I know a little bit about like Chinese philosophy and things of that nature, but not too much, you know.
Here's the other part too, is like, so I struggled with depression for a long time, like ever since I was like 11 years old. So I went through like 12, 13 years of depression, right? And when I was in high school, like clinical depression, like what? don't even want to get up, you know, principal, you know, they see you different, you know, so they had to go see like a psychologist, psychiatrist or whatever. She was like, yeah, you're definitely depressed, like you want some medication. I was talking to her. But anyways, after my second treatment, my second acupuncture treatment, cleared up my depression. I was like, what? Like I went in for the headaches, brain injuries. I was like, yeah, hey, can you treat my headaches? I've been hitting the head with cushions, you know, pain. They're like, well, we can't just do one thing. We kind of have to treat your whole body. You have to see what's going on with the whole system, you know, treat everything, really. And I got up off that table. I was like, depression's gone. Like, what the heck? What's going on? So that's why I was like, man, I started fixing one thing and then another and then another. I'm like, man, I need to learn this medicine. So, yeah.
You talking about those little needles in your back?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so like people
they told me to do that for acne on your back.
Acne?
Too, yeah. They said it clears something up.
It helps. The bigger thing is diet for acne. Diet,
is it?
but like it helps, yeah.
Yeah, but true. But anyways, that's what she told me. I was like, what the hell? Dude,
So-
all
so-
those needles in your back?
So pretty much it could treat anything, almost anything. And it's like thing with Chinese medicine, if one thing doesn't work, there's something else. So like I had a lot of anxiety, like sweaty palms, sweaty armpits, just anxiety from like all the trauma, you know, like all the time. I'd be out. And so I was getting acupuncture when I was studying at the school. I'm like treating my anxiety, help me with my anxiety, and they put needles. Didn't work. Started dealing with this. So finally, when the professor was like, let me give you a recipe, herbal tea. So like all of a sudden, like my hands aren't as sweaty as they used to be. I started having more energy. Like it was wild. So for that, the needles didn't work, but the teas, yeah, it did.
That's tight.
Yeah, no, teas are definitely sick, honestly. I've been drinking a lot of teas lately.
So like the thing people don't know about the Chinese system, it's literally like 3,000 years old. Like of like herbs, of like people studying herb trial and error, trying it. Oh, do this. Oh, this works. Of like 3,000 years. So it's like a system that's like this stuff is solid. Like the knowledge is there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, time's crazy. You know, like there's honestly, you know, the history is, you know, like just even like the Romans. You know, they ruled for 1,000 years. You know, and that's just one empire of, you know, a few others that controlled everything.
And the things that they built, you know, like people like 100 years after the Romans fell, people in Europe 100 years later, 200 years later, they're like, man, how did these people build this stuff? You know, what kind of knowledge did they have? You know, they lived in little huts. The Romans had single aqueducts or whatever. You know, Colosseums.
It's just the knowledge, you know.
Yeah.
And you know that it doesn't surprise me honestly if like, you know, there was a civilization that lived here, you know, thousands, millions of years ago that, you know, already rose and fell before us that did great things.
And that's kind of like been my journey, is like tapping into that knowledge, that ancient knowledge, you know, studying Aztecs and Mayas. I'm like, man, what did they know? What did the Egyptians know? What did the Chinese know? What did, you know, these people know? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what I've been on. I'm like, man, this is wild. Like, I just started the Western stuff. Like I was good at math and science. You know, I went to college. I studied biology and I did all that stuff too. But it's like, man, I got fascinated by this stuff over here. You know.
I feel you.
Yeah.
That's how I've been. You know, like once I got out of school, and I was just me. You know, I got into a lot of esoteric, esoteric knowledge and Eastern philosophy.
Yep.
You know. Chinese was my first for sure, and a lot of the Japanese, and then I got into some Hinduism, and
I went to India.
a lot of Western philosophy too. You know, but what would you say?
I went to India.
Really?
Yeah, when I was in college, my scholarship paid for it too, so it's free for me.
How was that?
Wow. So that's when I got immersed in like
What scholarship did you have?
Daniel's Fund.
Really?
Yeah.
You know my brother?
Now who's your brother?
Stephen Bryant?
Did you get that scholarship?
He had that scholarship too, yeah.
Yeah, no, I was a good one, man. Paid for everything, paid for my schooling at DU and that trip to India. That trip was like 10 racks.
Wow.
For the credit, you know, the plane ticket, living expenses, and there's a class. But,
That's wild.
so here's the other thing too, is I began studying this stuff, man. Growing up, I was like angry, sad, depressed, all at the same time, you know. Like, and once I started studying this stuff, like I started studying the Eastern Asian philosophies, the martial arts, the medicine. I'm like, man, I started getting happier. I just literally became a happier person. You know, that's why I kept doing it.
So you had a 4.0 grade average pretty much throughout high school?
Nah,
no?
I was ditch. I was fine. I got suspended.
How did you get the Daniels funding?
I was really smart.
Right in the essays,
high test scores. So like, for example, my math SATs,
okay.
ACTs are like in the upper 90 percentile.
Okay.
You know, and I was taking like calculus when I was 16.
Where did you go to? What did you major in?
At DU?
Yeah.
Major in Spanish. So I started off as a math major. Yeah, so I started off as a math major, but I go to my math classes, man. It's like they're just doing solving equations the whole time, and then I would go to like, you know, people who even want to talk, they're not even social. Like people who are math majors, they're just on their computers, they're just like, you know. Then I would take Spanish classes because I want to get better at Spanish, man. Over there, it's like Spanish. They're talking about like revolutions in Latin America, but in Spanish. I'm taking classes on like Mexican film, but in Spanish, and like, you know, all the girls are in like Spanish, the language departments. So I was like, man, why am I a math major, bro? Like, I'm gonna be a Spanish, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Where the ladies are at.
Yeah. And people are fun. Like the professors, Joe. I had some amazing professors in the Spanish department. That was really like, I think, the major difference. For example, I had two professors, Miriam and Oscar. They're retired now, but like I think Miriam was from Mexico City, you know, and then they came as like immigrants, but then they ended up, you know, Oscar too. I think he was like a migrant field worker, like in the 70s or 80s or whatever. I'm not too sure, right? But I'm pretty sure they came as like immigrants, and then they got their PhDs from like Arizona, and highly intelligent people. And I'm like, man, just the classes, the things that I learned from them, just being with them, being around them, like, you know what I mean? It's like life changing.
That's tight.
Yeah.
You have some interesting teachers, it sounds like.
So, you know, they're like who made me me. You know? Kung fu teachers, boxing teachers, college professors, high school teachers. Yeah.
They all just have such like colorful backgrounds, I'd say.
Yo, the dude who led the trip to India, his name is Roscoe. Philosophy professor. So he like taught at Yale for a bit, and then he went to DU, and he got tenured at DU, taught there like 30, 40 years or something. He was like 72 years old when we went to India. So he's like a 70-year-old man taking a bunch of college kids to the other side of the world. You know, it was like a 16-hour plane ride, a 10-hour train ride, a 3-hour taxi ride, and this dude's leading the whole trip, make sure everything's cool, you know. And then we went on like a 3-hour hike. We were at the foothills of the Himalayan mountains. Like, this dude's 72 years old. This guy's been like all over the world, you know. I'm like, man. You know, just like learning from him, talking to him. Man. He knew like Greek philosophy, Roman philosophy. He knew he was Catholic, so he knew like Christian philosophy. He knew Buddhist philosophy. This dude knew like, you know what I mean. So any conversation you have with this guy is like, man, mind blowing. Learning That's something tight. Every time, you know.
That's tight.
That shit's great. So it should be, you know. And, you know, it's always good to speak to people and just get other people's opinions and, you know, just share information.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit's interesting, man. I would like to talk to that guy.
Yeah, and like even after I graduated, I still met with him. Like we have breakfast like once a month, you know, and just talk to him. I talk to him about life, you know, think about like, you know, where I want to, how I think about moving forward, things that are going on, you know, just give me good advice and. Just the way he thinks too, just can break things down from all the philosophy he studied, you know. So yeah, it was cool.
And he's so experienced.
Yeah.
70 years of experience.
They know what they're doing, you know.
Yeah. Especially if they use their time wisely. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Y'all have any other questions or?
I actually was wondering what that tattoo is on your right arm.
Which one?
Is that Aztec?
This one?
Yeah.
This is the center of the Aztec calendar.
Oh.
Just the center. Yeah. Yeah. Got a bunch of like Aztec and Maya.
What does it mean though?
Huh?
Does it mean something?
I don't know. Like I didn't want to get the whole calendar tattooed,
Okay.
but also like I would see it all the time. have visions, you know, and they would just pop up. I'm like, whoa. Like a lot of things I have tattooed on my body that I had visions about it. You know?
That's pretty tight, man.
That's what's up. Huh.
Would you mind sharing any of those experiences with us?
So, when I was going through my trying to heal from my concussion symptoms, so I realized I was like a genius growing up in high school, like math genius. Like I had perfect memory, like academically everything, right? And then all of a sudden I'm 22, 23 years old, a decade of fighting, you know, and getting hit in the head. All of a sudden, yo, I can't even remember what I did last month, you know. And I'm like concerned. I'm like, whoa, how do I regain my brain power, my cognitive function? Man, I've beat it up, destroyed it for the last 10 years. So I went on this quest pretty much. Learned as much as I can. I was going to try anything. Acupuncture. I went to the library. I picked up books on like neuroscience, like all the latest stuff coming out about how to regrow your brain, build new neural networks, the Western science behind it. And then I started seeing these research articles coming out from like Europe about how like psilocybin, like psychedelic mushrooms, can promote brain growth, neurogenesis, help reduce fear, overcome anxiety, depression. And I'm like, what? This is like 2013, and then like these are actual like academic scientific research, not in America because it's illegal here in America, but like Europe, Asia, you know, all that stuff can be researched out there. And I was looking at this stuff, and I realized I'm desperate, willing to try anything that could help me recover my mind. And so I started experimenting with some of that stuff, and that's when I would have some of those visions. And it was really like life-changing, man. Like I think about it, man. Like getting hit in the head, going through all that, completely changed my life. Yeah, I learned medicine. I learned healing because of it, right?
Yeah.
If you have nothing to heal from, there's no point in learning how to heal. Like for what? You know, I'm good. You know, but if you got all these things that you're going through, it's like, man, I gotta figure something out. You know, so you start looking, you start searching. Yeah.
I kind of have a similar experience actually.
Oh, for real?
It's
Yeah.
Through psychedelics, it came a point. Yeah, like I was doing. So I did some acid one time, and it took me to a whole nother world, you know. But I was here still.
Yeah.
And I just remember when I was actually came back, I went to the mirror, and I seen myself, and I just looked sick. You know, and it spoke to me in such a way where I was like, dude, I need to get better. So that's when I really started like digging deep into everything, you know, how to like transform myself from the inside out. You know what I'm saying? Because I could see how sick I was. You know, I just wasn't healthy. And now, you know, back then I didn't have nothing. Now I got my own place. I'm living good. Got a car.
Nice. Yeah.
You know, got a job. Taking care of my own. My mind's well. My body's well. I feel good.
It'll get a lot better. Yeah.
You know?
That's how I was like I would look at myself back when I was in high school, middle school, and man, I was not a happy person. I was miserable. But it was normal.
Shitty life growing
Yeah.
up. What about you, Isaac?
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, we all go through the depression. You know, I think that's something that we should really, you know, express. That is normal. You know, people get depressed, and life isn't always going to be great, but it does get better at times, and you got to work for it, though.
Here's where the India trip changed my life, though. It's like, cause here we grow up, and like everyone is like miserable and depressed and sad and angry and frustrated. Yo, I went to India, and like it's normal, right? That's how it is. That's how we are. You know, smoke a little bud, you know, do whatever, right? But so like when I went to India, though, I hung out with these monks. I'm like, how are y'all just so happy? Like, for no reason. And then they started teaching about their like I was like an angry person, and these dudes, you know, these Tibetan monks they just walk around carefree. They're laughing all the time, and being in that environment, I was like, man, this is what it's like to be happy. Like, whoa, and it's like these people are happy for no reason. That's when they started teaching us about, you know, their culture and their practices. And I was all closed-minded too, like skeptical, critical, you know, have this like Western mindset, like we know everything, you guys are third world country people, you don't know what he's talking about, you know. And then when I started hanging out with them, talking to them, man, some of them been through a lot. Like there was this one month, so we had to go volunteer to teach English to Tibetan refugees. So you know they leave their country, Tibet, that was taken over by China, and so then they're in India, you know, living there. And so I was talking to this monk, and our job was we're volunteering to teach them English. And this monk was telling us his story. So this dude apparently, he tried to escape Tibet, China, the first time, got caught, thrown back. So like it's kind of different. Like, you know, over there you're not allowed to leave the country. And then he tried the second time, got caught, got thrown in jail. So if you try to leave the country, you get thrown in prison, right? It's like the other way around, right? And so, and then the third time he finally escaped, but he said he was on horseback going through the mountain, and they were shooting at him, like the Chinese guy, they were shooting at him for trying to leave. And this guy's a monk, right? Like not like you know, yeah.
Damn, that's messed up.
Yeah. And so I remember one time I was talking to him. I was like, hey, let's go play some ball. Let's go play some basketball. They love basketball out there.
Tight.
Yeah. It's like you see monks in the Tibetan robes playing ball. For real.
You actually look like you fit in down there, though.
Yeah. Ah, yeah.
Not to like stereotype or nothing, but you do look like you fit in.
No, and so I was wild. It's like when I went to India, it was the first time I felt like I wasn't experiencing racism because they thought I was Hindi, they thought I was Muslim, they thought I was Tibetan. Yeah. This was before I was all tied up too, so they couldn't tell. But so I invited the monk. I was like, hey, let's go play some ball. They're like, oh no, I can't. I was like, oh, why not? They're like my leg is lame. Then I realized, oh, dude walks with a limp everywhere he goes, walking with a limp. I'm like, what happened? He's like, well, after the second time when he got thrown into prison for trying to leave the country, that the prison guards beat him so bad they messed up his leg, broke his leg. So now he's walking with a limp the rest of his life. And so I'm like, man, these dudes also been through some stuff, you know what I mean? But yet they're happy. And they're monks, so like they have no jobs, no money. They're not allowed to marry or have kids. They're like celibate. They're not allowed to drink or smoke. And they own nothing, only the robes. And I'm like, man, how do y'all not have anything I got? And you're happier than me? Like that don't make no sense. It don't make no sense at all. So that's when I was like, man, teach me what you know. Teach me what you like. I want to know what you know. But I'm not going to become a monk, man. I still want to travel and buy jewelry and hang out with girls and, you know, do different...
How come they won't teach you what you really want to know then if you do all that stuff?
Huh?
I don't think they'll really fully teach you what you want to know.
Yeah. They'll teach you like basics. Like it's like with meditation, there's levels, you know. So they'll teach you the basics.
Oh my gosh.
But then they have like secret high level stuff that they do behind closed doors that they don't teach outsiders. But there's like basic stuff, you know what I mean? That they'll teach you that can help you. And like that's what I got. I've been running with it. It's been helping me a lot. The meditation too. There's like basic meditation, and then they have stuff on the like higher and higher levels. One example. So when you think of meditation here, like how they teach you in the West about, you know, relaxing your body, breath work, it reduces your stress and anxiety and all that stuff, right? Like then that's it. However, in Asia, in some of those like people who know, there's like that's just the beginning. There's like levels to this stuff. How I stumbled across it when I was learning Chinese medicine. We had Qigong class, and this guy was from China, and he pretty much taught you how to move energy through your body through meditation. This is all he did. We would sit there and we would meditate. It was part of my like Chinese medicine training, right? And he would meditate for 45 minutes. And he would teach you how to like move the energy through the meridians just with your mind. And I'm like, whoa, this is insane. And this dude, you know, grew up in China. And I remember he would tell us, his mom, his parents would be like, why are you doing all this Qigong stuff? You're not ever gonna make any money doing this stuff. Get a real job, do something real. And so he came to America, literally, like, I'm gonna make money to teach Americans, Westerners, how to meditate and how to move energy through the body. I'm gonna make a living off of this stuff, you know, and he did, right? He was doing it.
That's what's up. You think he was a hoax?
Huh?
You think he was a hoax?
No, so he didn't claim that, right? But like once you actually meditate with him, and if you did what he said, all of a sudden your body starts getting warmer, start feeling like electrical shocks in certain points. I'm like, dude, and then you get up afterwards, all of a sudden you have all this energy, you feel so relaxed and like, what the heck? And you can feel it. You can feel it like heat moving through your body. It's like you can control it. Like it's wild. Like, you know, it's something that's hard to believe until you experience it. Until
I've done qigong a little bit.
Yeah.
It's different.
That's where like this martial arts stuff. That's how it comes into play with the martial arts. Like the energy they can hold it and they can move it. And then and that's also with healing. Because healing with the medicine, with the acupuncture, you're moving chi, so you have to know how to work with chi. And so it's all connected. And yeah, so I met this dude too. You know, he taught me. He took my meditation to the next level, beyond just the basic stuff that they teach Americans. Oh, just relax your muscles and breathe. You know, that's true. That's only the beginning.
I actually have a book that talks about that. Like just like meditation and like spiritual practice in general. You know, stuff like that, and the deeper aspects of it. And it gives you practices. And one of them was about like carrying your awareness, you know, through your body and holding it in certain areas.
Mm-hmm. And so here's what's wild. Like I grew up here. You know what I mean? I graduated from Skyview. You know, and my parents are from Mexico. You know, I grew up here, you know, listening, you know, this culture, listening to this music, you know, boxing, all this stuff, right? But then I came across all these people and all these experiences, and I'm like, man, this dude who could meditate, move energy through his body. You know what I mean? My Kung Fu teacher who learned Kung Fu in Korea. I came across like all these amazing people. It's like, my mind was just like, you know, but I grew up eating tacos and, you know, cruising feds, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what it's about, man. You know, diversifying and getting those mentors that truly know things, and you know, getting that knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, before you know they're gone. You know, because I mean, you know, everybody knows something really.
Right, man. My Kung Fu teacher when he passed away, I was like, man, I wish I would have learned more from him. I kind of took it for granted, and I'll go in and out. I wouldn't take it too serious. I would work out, learn some stuff, but then, cause I just thought he was gonna be there forever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden, has a heart attack. Like, dang, that knowledge is gone. You know. That's when I learned this. Now it's like, man, when I come across like this Wing Chun, now I'm gonna soak it all in. I'm gonna learn as much as I can while I still can, cause you never know.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh man.
So it's been a great experience for you. It sounds like.
It's been wild, man. And it's like, it really has just been about my own healing, I think. My own healing. But now I feel like I'm at a place where it's like I can help others. I can teach like all the stuff I've been through, all the stuff I've learned, and like I can help others now. You know what I mean?
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tight.
Yeah.
You gonna open up a little school?
Like that's the goal, man. I just gotta figure out how to do it. You know, that's the goal, though. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Spot.
Just look it up online.
There's, you know, I mean, there's
For
like,
real, though.
there's like money and stuff. You know, Denver's expensive too with their rent
Nah,
prices
yeah.
and all that. So I gotta figure out, you know.
You'd have to buy like a location and stuff.
Yeah, you wanna have, you know,
Set up a curriculum.
something. Yeah. But me, you know, meanwhile, I'm just working non-profit sector, that's how I'm paying my bills.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I still train, you know.
Yeah.
Still work out.
You're doing the Wing Chun right now then?
That's my focus.
Okay.
Like I said, Kung Fu is like you gotta do it for 10 years before you can start teaching it.
Yeah.
And so right now I'm just, you know, focusing, continuing to develop my Wing Chun, my Kung Fu.
That's what's up.
You know, hopefully, you know, at some point, yeah, we'll do something. Plus, I know boxing, I know Muay Thai. I want to circle back to Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah.
Do it all. Like Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
He's in Taekwondo. You already know Taekwondo, didn't you?
Nah, I never did
no.
Taekwondo.
Okay, you're
I like spar with those guys when I was at the Kung Fu. So when I was at this, it's cool. Like when I was at the Kung Fu place, guys would come in. Oh, I'm a Taekwondo black belt. Oh, I've done karate for 8 years. I'm a karate black belt. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. And they would come in basically trying to be like, I can beat you guys up. You guys don't know nothing. So we always had Friday night sparring, right? Because we did Honda Chinese kickboxing amateur competitions. And whenever one of these guys would come, they'd come in every now and then. Whenever one of these guys would come in, my Kung Fu teacher would be like, all right, Lorenzo, you're up. You know, because I have that fighting back. I love fighting, you know. And so, I mean, I remember there was this one Taekwondo dude, like 6 feet tall, black belt. Like, I'll do some sparring. So it was like, all right, Lorenzo. And he started came in with the attitude, right? Like, take you guys, So my Kung Fu teacher's like, come on, Lorenzo, you're up. Go in, And so I fought them, and I never stood by. I fought them, and those guys can kick. They can kick real good, but they don't kick hard. They kick fast, but they don't kick hard. And so once I realized, so we went first round. I can block his kicks, but because he was so tall, he had a good footwork, so he would move back. I couldn't catch him. Block a kick, and when I go in to strike, he's already gone. Block a kick. Damn, how do I get this guy? Second round comes. I realize this dude can't hurt me. His kicks are too light. They're too soft. He pulls them back. There's no power behind them. They're flashy. They look really cool. They're like, they're flashy, but like, I'm just gonna eat his kicks. So as soon as he would like throw a kick, I was like, I'm just gonna eat it. And I'm gonna come in, get in a range. If I'll take a kick somewhere in the body, it don't matter. I'm like, I know I can take it. And then boom, right hand, right to the face, right to the nose. He couldn't handle. He couldn't handle getting punched in the head, punched in the face. So I do that second round. Dude never came back. Boom, boom, boom. Eat his kicks. Go in there, throw some hands. Yeah, he ain't coming back.
I love dropping fools like that.
That's
funny. Yeah, so what y'all think, man?
You're an awesome person.
Man, appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's like, one thing is, like, I've noticed, like, when you do the things for others to help others, like, you feel happier. You know what I mean? Like, I was teaching. I didn't really like teaching math, but, like, I felt like, helping my students a lot, because good math teachers are hard to find. People normally hate math class before they even go in it. I hate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, so like that felt good, So now I have all this knowledge and skill. I want to help people develop. Could you become strong mentally, physically? I feel like the boxing, the mental strength. You're in the ring and you learn. You don't give up. You take a shot. You don't show pain. Because if you show pain, your enemy realizes that you're hurt and they're going for the kill. You don't want never. That's what my Kung Fu teacher told my boxing coach. I was boxing over here. And I was exhausted. I was worn out, man. I was sparring. I'm exhausted. And he looks at me. He was like, Lorenzo, are you tired? I'm like, yeah. So what he does is like, boom, smacks me. I'm like, never tell me that you're tired. Never let him hear that you're tired. Go back in there, do another round. You know what I mean? And so it's like that toughness, that mental toughness that you learn from martial arts, from boxing, everything. And like that carried me through life, got me through high school, got me through college, and like I want to be like share that, you know what I mean? Like I feel like it would help a lot of kids, have that strength, that mental, physical strength. Yeah.
That's good stuff, man. Well, I'm glad to have you, man.
Thanks for coming.
Oh man, for sure.
Well, would you like to? I don't know. If you want to, you can tell people where they can find you.
Well, so when I'm gonna be in Denver, right? I want to do this in Denver, and like I just have this vision in my mind, right? And so it's like, if people are interested, if they want to be a part of it, like somehow it'll happen. I don't know if it'll happen this year, next year, or in the next 5 years, right? But it's gonna happen. It's gonna be here in Denver. That's what I know for sure, right? So, they can reach out to you. You can reach out to me. You can find me on Facebook. Instagram, Snapchat, all that. Yeah.
Sure, man.
In the next several years, like there's gonna be something. I know there is, but
Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, thanks for coming, Lorenzo.
Cool. All right, man. Thanks for having me. Nice to meet y'all.
Yeah, nice to meet you too, man. You're awesome. Until next time, everybody. Peace and love.
Peace and love.